In the cold darkness of deep space, the Xarnath scout ship Velokar floated silently near the edge of the known galaxy. The stars outside shimmered like tiny white eyes, watching every move. Inside the ship, the crew worked as usual, calm and focused. The mission was simple: explore unknown areas, scan for resources, and report back to the Xarnath High Council. Nothing strange had ever happened in this sector before, but tonight, something was different. A soft red light began blinking on the control panel. Then, without warning, all long-range sensors went dark. No alarms, no signals, just a sudden silence. Ensign Toller, the youngest crew member, looked confused. He tapped the screen again and again, but the scanner showed nothing. No stars, no planets, not even the usual space dust. "Captain, the sensors. They failed," he said with a shaking voice. Captain Drell, a veteran of many missions, stood up from his chair. He walked over to the console and checked the systems himself. Everything looked fine. No damage, no errors. But the readings were still blank. "This isn't just a glitch," he said. "Something is blocking our scans." The crew looked at each other, unsure what to do. The ship's AI, called Syrinx, tried to restart the protocols. But each time, the system shut itself down. Defense protocols failed next. Shields went offline. Auto-defense cannons turned cold. It was like the ship was being watched and disabled by an invisible hand. The silence became heavy. Even the hum of the engine felt quieter, like the ship itself was holding its breath. "Send a message to Central Command," the captain ordered. "We may not be alone out here." Lieutenant Rillor tried to open a communication link, but even the short-range signal was blocked. Static filled the room. Then, just as quickly as it began, the silence broke, not with noise, but with presence. Outside the ship, a shadow appeared. From the darkness, a massive shape slid into view. No warning, no sound, just a slow, terrifying movement. The alien ship was unlike anything that Xarnath had ever seen. Sharp edges, thick armor, glowing blue engines, and a hull blacker than space itself. It did not match any known design. It was not Varnak, not Dreel, not even one of the silent trader ships. As the lights from Velokar fell on the strange vessel, a single word came up in the ship's ancient database: human. Gasps filled the command room. Some of the younger officers had never seen that word before, only heard stories passed down from their elders. Humans, the monsters of old, the ones who had fought the Xarnath 2 centuries ago, then vanished into deep space after a treaty was signed. No one had seen a human ship in generations. Many believed they were extinct. But now one stood right in front of them. "Is it attacking?" Toller asked, voice tight with fear. "No," Captain Drell said slowly. "It's just watching us." For a full minute, nothing happened. The human ship didn't fire, didn't move closer. It simply floated outside, silent and still. The tension in the room was thick like smoke. Then a low beep came from the comms panel. The screen blinked. A message came through. Not a voice, just words. Simple, clear, chilling. "You broke the treaty." The crew froze. "What treaty?" Raylor asked. "We didn't do anything." But the human ship had already gone silent again. No response, just that one sentence. Captain Drell stood still, his eyes locked on the black ship outside. "This can't be real," he whispered. "We didn't break any treaty. We don't even know what this thing wants." "Maybe it's a mistake," Toller offered, though his voice carried no real hope. "No," the captain said. "This ship didn't just appear by accident. It's here for a reason." Syrinx tried once again to scan the human ship, but nothing worked. The strange vessel had tech beyond anything that Xarnath had ever seen. It was invisible to sensors, impossible to scan, yet clearly real. It felt like a ghost from an ancient war had returned. The crew stood silently as the human ship began to move again. Not closer, not away, just slightly to the side, as if circling them. A slow, careful dance. The kind of movement a predator makes when watching its prey. Shields still offline, Syrinx reported. Weapons not responding. We're defenseless. Captain Drell clenched his fists. We don't know why it's here, but we can't run. And we can't fight. He looked around the room, at each of his crew members, their faces pale with fear. We wait, he said, until it tells us what it wants. Outside, the warship floated, quiet and dark, like a shadow made of steel, and the stars watched in silence. The human ship did not move closer. It floated just outside the Xarnath vessel, silent like a sleeping beast. Inside the Velokar, the crew could not stop staring at the screen. It was like time had stopped. They waited for another message, another sign, but nothing came. Toller felt his hands shake. He was young, but even he had heard the stories. The ones told in training camps, the ones whispered by old soldiers, stories about the humans, about their cold machines, their strange war tactics, and the day that Xarnath almost lost everything. Are we sure it's human? He asked quietly. Captain Drell nodded. Yes. That design, that silence. It's them. Relor, the communications officer, looked at the captain. But they disappeared. We signed the treaty. They went into exile. We were told the humans were finished. History is not always true, Drell replied. Or maybe it is, but the truth returns when we forget it. The crew was silent. Each one of them searched their memories, trying to remember what they had learned about the human war. It had happened over 200 years ago. The Xarnath Empire was expanding fast back then, taking over smaller systems and mining rich planets. When they reached a small blue world called Earth, they thought it would be easy to conquer. But the humans didn't surrender. They fought back with everything. No one expected it. Humans were fewer in number. Their ships were old. Their worlds were scattered. But they used tactics the Xarnath had never seen. Dirty tactics. Smart tactics. The Xarnath called it dishonorable. The humans called it survival. And then came the Day of Fire. A massive battle near the Black Star of Krenthos. The Xarnath lost half their fleet. The humans lost Earth. No side truly won. So they made a peace, a strange treaty. The humans would leave the main galaxy, go into deep space, never return. In return, the Xarnath would never cross certain borders, borders now long forgotten. Captain Drell sighed. I studied the treaty when I was a cadet. It had over 900 rules. Most of them were ignored after the humans vanished. Relor nodded. We might have broken one, without knowing it. But how did they know? Toller asked. We didn't even know they were out there. That, Drell said, is the scariest part. Just then, Syrinx, the ship's AI, made a soft beep. Captain, it said, the human vessel has moved. Only a small shift in position. No weapons detected, but it is now scanning us. Drell narrowed his eyes. They're watching, studying, maybe waiting. The crew felt the tension grow. Every second felt longer. Every beep, every flicker of light made someone jump. Finally, Relor spoke again. Should we try talking to them? Drell thought for a moment, then nodded. Send a message. Be careful. Be respectful. Relor's fingers moved across the console. Message sent. Just a greeting. Peaceful tone. No threats. They waited. 5 seconds. 10. A minute. Nothing. Then suddenly, the screen came alive. A voice this time. Male. Calm. Deep. You destroyed one of our eyes. The crew stared at the screen. No face appeared. Just that one sentence. An eye. Toller whispered. What does that mean? Syrinx searched old records. Possible meaning. A human satellite. A sensor probe. Perhaps something hidden in space. Captain Drell looked grim. We may have destroyed one during mining operations, a satellite they left behind, something they were still using. R'hllor added, but we didn't know. It wasn't marked. It didn't respond. We thought it was space junk. The voice returned. Intent does not matter. The protocols were broken. The Watchers are awake. The message ended. Silence again. Drell spoke slowly. They have been watching us. All this time. Syrinx confirmed it. Records suggest multiple quiet satellites placed near key systems. Hidden. Sleeping. Watching. Then we never truly ended the war, R'hllor said. We just agreed to pause it. Captain Drell stood. He looked at each of his crew members. We are not at war now, but something is happening. The humans did not come here for revenge. Not yet. They came because we touched something important. Should we flee? Asked Toller, voice low. Drell shook his head. We can't. Not with no shields. No weapons. Even if we could, they'd follow. Just then, Syrinx speaked again. The screen changed. A single word blinked in glowing red letters. Prepare. No one knew what it meant. Prepare for what? An attack? A meeting? A test? Captain Drell didn't speak. He just stared at the word. His jaw tight. His eyes full of thoughts. He had seen many strange things in space, but nothing like this. Outside, the human warship floated, silent and still. No lights. No movement, but full of secrets. And inside the Velkar, the silence pressed down like a heavy hand. The past had returned, and it was not done yet. You said. The crew of the Velkar waited in silence. The word prepare still blinked on the screen, red and cold. Captain Drell stood with his arms behind his back, eyes fixed on the human warship outside. It had not moved again. No more messages, no signs of life. Just that one word, hanging in the air like a warning. Toller shifted nervously. Prepare for what? He asked. Are they going to attack? No, Drell said. If they wanted us dead, we would already be gone. R'hllor stared at the controls. Maybe they're waiting for us to do something. Like what? Toller said. Apologize. Captain Drell walked slowly to the center of the command room. No, this is a test, a message. They're watching how we react. Not just to punish us, but to measure us. Suddenly, Syrinx, the AI, made a soft tone. Captain, a new signal is coming through. Not a voice, a code. Show it, Drell ordered. A line of strange symbols appeared on the screen. Long, sharp, cold. The crew didn't recognize them. Then Syrinx spoke again. The code matches an old human pattern. Pre-digital, deep space language, almost forgotten. Syrinx began translating the message. It came through slowly, word by word. Protocol breach confirmed. You destroyed a silent guardian. That was not yours to touch. The crew looked at each other. It was true. Months ago, during a mineral survey, one of their drones had found an object near a dead moon. It had no markings, no signal. The drone destroyed it and collected the remains. They thought it was junk. The eye you destroyed was watching the dark. Now something else has seen your flame. Drell stepped forward. What does that mean? Syrinx replied. Possible meaning. The human satellite was guarding something, or someone, and now that it's gone, something dangerous has noticed us. R'hllor frowned. So we didn't just wake the humans. We woke something else, or let it escape, Drell added softly. The message continued. This ship is not your enemy. It is your warning. Your species must understand. Some doors must stay closed. The room went quiet. No one dared to speak. The words were simple, but heavy. Captain Drell knew what this meant. The humans had not returned to take revenge. They had returned because the galaxy was in danger. Toller broke the silence. Are they saying, we're all in trouble? Syrinx confirmed it. Yes, It appears the humans have left warships behind, not to fight us, but to protect us, or at least to protect something bigger. The next message came even faster. No pauses. No time to think. We have seen movement in the void. Signals we hope to never hear again. You are not the target, but now you are seen. Captain Drell felt a chill crawl down his spine. They're not talking about us. They're talking about something older. Something worse. R'hllor whispered. Could it be the Varnak? Or the Dreel? Some lost empire? No, Drell said. This is different. This is something even the humans feared. Suddenly, the ship shook. A deep vibration ran through the hull, like a great engine waking far away. Alarms lit up for a moment, then died again. Syrinx reported quickly. No impact. No weapons fired. But something just passed near us. Very large. Faster than anything I've seen before. The crew rushed to the viewing screen. Outside, the stars looked the same. Still and peaceful. But the human ship was no longer alone. Just behind it, for a brief moment, a shadow moved. It was massive. No clear shape. No lights. Just darkness. A void in space, like a hole where no stars could shine. And then it was gone. Toller stepped back. What was that? No idea, Drell said. But the humans knew it was coming. The message returned. You are not ready to face what stirs. Do not follow it. Do not search for it. Stay in the light. The crew listened, frozen. Then the final line appeared. We will hold the dark. For now. And just like that, the signal ended. No more words. No more messages. The human ship began to turn, slowly, like a watchful beast returning to its den. Captain, Syrinx said. They are leaving. Let them, Drell said. No one moved for several minutes. The Velkar floated in space, small and silent, while the black warship vanished into the stars. Captain Drell finally spoke. Log everything. We will send a report to the High Council. But what do we tell them? R'hllor asked. That ghosts came back. That we woke up something even worse. Drell looked out the window. We tell them the truth. The humans never left. They were watching. And something else was watching them. Outside, the stars looked the same. But the crew of the Velkar knew the galaxy had changed forever. The Velkar drifted in the silence of space, the stars glowing cold outside its windows. The human warship had vanished into the void, leaving behind no trace, no engine trails, no radiation, nothing. It was like it had never been there. But the crew knew better. They had seen it. They had heard its warnings. Inside the ship, no one spoke for a long time. Captain Drell stood still, his face hard and thoughtful. He knew this was only the beginning. Something far older and darker had moved near them, something the humans feared, something that didn't belong in this galaxy. Syrinx, the AI, broke the silence. Long-range sensors are offline, but gravity readings show a large object pass nearby. Mass unknown, no visible form, likely cloaked or using non-reflective material. R'hllor shook his head. That thing we saw, it wasn't just a ship. It felt like a shadow, like space itself moved. Toller added, it didn't even show on our screens. Only our eyes caught it. That's not normal. That's wrong. Captain Drell nodded. Whatever it was, it didn't stop. It kept moving. Fast. But toward what? The question hung in the air like smoke. Syrinx continued, there is one strange thing, Captain. When the human ship scanned us, it also uploaded something. What kind of something? Drell asked. A packet of data, Syrinx replied. Encrypted, human code, buried deep inside our main systems. Can you open it? I can try, but it may take time. It is old, complex, not like our current tech. Begin now, Drell said. We need to know what they left us. As Syrinx worked, The crew returned to their stations, but the mood had changed. No one joked. No one relaxed. Every beep, every flicker on a screen made someone flinch. Then, something new happened. A faint signal began pulsing through space. Weak, faint, like a whisper. Syrinx picked it up first. "Captain, I'm detecting a distress call. Non-Xarnith. It's on a human emergency band." The crew looked up. "Location?" Drell asked quickly. "Nearby. Only a few light minutes away. The signal is very old." Looping. Repeating the same message. "What does it say?" Syrinx translated it. The words were slow, faded, but clear. "This is UNS Sentinel. Outpost destroyed. Unknown enemy. We failed. Do not follow. Do not." The message cut off, then looped again. Toller's eyes widened. A human outpost. This close. How is that possible? "They must have had stations hidden across space," Raylor said, watching the dark places. Drell made a decision. "Set course to that signal. If something happened to a human station, we need to see it. Maybe we'll find answers. Maybe we'll find survivors. But what if that shadow is still there?" Toller asked. "Then we'll learn what it really is," Drell replied. The Velkar moved through space, slow and careful. As they approached the source of the signal, the stars seemed to grow colder. Even Syrinx reported a strange drop in system temperature, though there was no real cause. Finally, the wreck came into view. It was a floating ruin, a long, thin station, broken in half. The human design was clear. Tough steel, thick armor, built to survive deep space. But it had failed. Something had torn through the station like paper. No weapons, no explosion. Just ripping, like claws. "Scan it," Drell ordered. Syrinx scanned the wreck. No life signs, no energy. But there are strange readings. Faint traces of organic matter. Not human, not Sarnith. Unknown. The crew watched in silence as images of the broken station appeared on screen. Long claw marks across the metal, dried blood floating in the air, and symbols scratched into the walls, symbols no one could read. "What is that writing?" Raylor asked. "I don't know," Drell said, "but I've seen similar shapes in old human war files, the ones they never explained." Toller swallowed. "Do we go inside?" Drell looked at the dark wreck. "No, not yet. First we finish unlocking the data they gave us." Just then, Syrinx beeped. "Captain, I've cracked the first layer. The file is a warning. And a map." "A map to what?" "To other eyes," Syrinx said. "Other stations, hidden probes, places the humans watched for signs of it." Toller asked, "How many?" Syrinx paused. "Hundreds." The room went silent. Raylor said, "They weren't just guarding their borders. They were guarding the whole galaxy." Captain Drell looked at the screen again. At the ruined station, the fading signal, the stars around them. "They saw something coming," he said. "They tried to hold it back. And now we've broken the line." Outside the window, the stars shimmered. But now they looked different. They looked afraid. The Velkar floated near the ruins of the human station, UNS Sentinel. The broken metal spun slowly, a silent grave in the dark. The emergency signal still repeated, but the voices were long gone. Only ghosts remained. Captain Drell stared at the screen. "So this is what happens when the line breaks." Raylor nodded. "Whatever attacked them, it didn't just destroy the station. It erased it." Syrinx, the ship's AI, spoke again. "Captain, I've opened more of the human data file. I found something strange, a timeline, a pattern of attacks. The humans called it void events." Toller leaned forward. "What's that mean?" Syrinx explained. "Every time a human satellite went dark, something else happened nearby. A station lost power. A patrol disappeared. A star system reported shadows moving near the edge. The humans tracked all of it. And the pattern? Drell asked. They were moving, Syrinx replied. From deep space, closer and closer to this part of the galaxy. Quiet at first. Testing. Waiting. Then faster. The humans thought something was waking up. R'hllor frowned. Waking up. Like sleeping. Yes, Syrinx confirmed. Something ancient. Something that doesn't belong in normal space. It sleeps in the dark between galaxies. When it senses life, it stirs. When we see it, it's already too late. Captain Drell stayed quiet for a moment, then gave an order. Send this data to the Xarnath High Council. Tell them the human warnings were real. Tell them we've broken the line. The crew worked quickly. Every second felt heavier. Syrinx continued. There is one more message, locked behind the last security layer. It requires manual access, a human passphrase. We don't have one, Toller said. But Drell had an idea. He remembered something from the human ship's message, a phrase that didn't fit. He repeated it. Stay in the light. Syrinx paused. Then a soft chime. Passphrase accepted. The final file opened. It was a video. The crew leaned in as the image appeared. A human stood in front of a damaged console. His face was tired, his uniform torn. He was in a small control room, probably on the UN Sentinel. The lights flickered behind him. This is Commander Ellis, the man said. If you're hearing this, the Sentinel is gone. We were watching something. We called it the Deep One. It doesn't attack with weapons. It attacks the mind. The screen shook slightly. A distant roar echoed behind him. It came through shadows. It changed people, made them see things, made them turn on each other. I locked the station. I sent the warning. But I think it's already inside. He leaned closer, whispering now. Do not try to fight it. Do not try to find it. The more you know, the closer it gets. That's how it works. His voice cracked. We thought we were the watchers, but we were only candles in the dark. He looked straight at the screen. Stay in the light. The video ended. No one spoke. Toller broke the silence. So, it doesn't kill with guns. It kills with fear. Captain Drell nodded slowly. It watches us, learns us, then uses what we fear most. Syrinx reported, new readings. The station wreck is changing. Strange energy rising inside. Unstable. Could it explode? R'hllor asked. No, Syrinx said. It's opening. Like a signal. A beacon. Drell's voice was sharp. Get us away. Now. Engines roared to life. The Velkar pulled back fast, leaving the wreck behind. As they moved away, the station's core burst open, not with fire, but with light. A dark red glow pulsed out, like a heartbeat, silent, slow, deadly. Then it stopped. Syrinx said, that was not a distress signal. That was a location mark. A call. Toller's eyes widened. We didn't just find something. We just lit a torch. Captain Drell stood tall. And now, whatever lives in the void knows we're here. They sat in silence again. But this time, it wasn't fear that held them. It was understanding. The humans hadn't vanished. They hadn't surrendered. They had stood at the edge of the dark and held the line. And now, that line was broken. Set course to the nearest human outpost listed in the map, Drell ordered. If there are more answers, we need them. Understood, Syrinx replied. As the ship turned, Drell looked out at the stars. They were beautiful, cold, and endless. But somewhere in that starlight, something was moving. Something that was now awake. The Velkar flew in silence through the dark space between stars. Its engines were quiet, its lights dim. Captain Drell wanted to avoid attention. Not from ships or empires, but from whatever had woken in the deep. Their destination was another human outpost. According to the old map hidden in the human data, this one was called Echo Point. It had gone silent over 100 years ago. No one knew why. No signal. No warning. Just gone. As they approached the coordinates, Syrinx, the ship's AI, reported no signs of power, no life signals. The outpost is intact, but quiet. Captain Drell stood behind the pilot's seat, arms crossed. Scan for traps. Then bring us close. The crew watched through the viewing screen. The station floated ahead, like a tomb in space. It was shaped like a spear, long and sharp, built into an asteroid. Human markings were still visible on its sides, faded with age. Toller frowned. How did no one ever find this? It's massive. The humans didn't want it found, Raylor said. They built it to vanish. The ship docked slowly. Magnetic clamps held the Velcar steady. Drell led a small team aboard the station. Syrinx stayed linked to their suits, providing updates. Inside, the outpost was cold and dark. Dust floated in the air. Empty halls stretched in all directions. Lights flickered faintly. Some doors were sealed shut. Others were broken open, as if torn from the inside. They reached the control room. It was partly functional, powered by a small backup core. Drell motioned to Raylor. Try to access their logs. Raylor plugged in his tablet. The files are old, but some survived. Audio logs, video clips, and one file marked red. Human level 0 clearance. Play it, Drell ordered. A voice came through, rough and low. It belonged to a woman, Commander Hayes. Echo Point was our last stand. We were the warning bell. The final post before the Deep One reached the core worlds. They said it couldn't think, that it was just hunger. But they were wrong. It learned. Every time we fought it, it changed. It studied our weapons, our defenses, our minds. In the end, we stopped sending reports. Not because we failed, but because it started listening. The audio cut for a moment. Then came a final line. We couldn't kill it. So we trapped it, buried it in dark space, sealed it with the eyes. If you found this, one of the eyes is gone. Drell stepped back. The eye, she means the satellite our drone destroyed. Raylor whispered, we opened the cage. Suddenly, Syrinx's voice came through their helmets. Captain, I'm detecting power spikes. Inside the station. Movement in several corridors. Life forms. Drell asked quickly. Not exactly. They're giving off no heat. But they're moving. The crew raised their weapons. Footsteps echoed in the halls. Soft, uneven. Then shapes appeared in the dark. Humanoid. Twisted. Some wore old human armor. Others looked wrong. Limbs too long, eyes glowing faintly. They were human once, Raylor whispered. Now, the shapes didn't speak. They just stared, watching. Back to the ship, Drell said. The crew moved fast, guns ready. The figures didn't chase. They just watched. But the message was clear. The Deep One had left pieces of itself behind. Fragments, echoes, and they were waking up. Once aboard the Velcar, Syrinx sealed the airlock. No contact, the AI said. But the station is changing. Something in it is alive, or becoming alive. Drell looked at the screen. Send everything to the Council. Now they'll believe us. Transmission sent. Syrinx confirmed. Just then, another signal appeared, faint, hidden inside the station's mainframe. It wasn't from the humans. It was older. Syrinx translated it. System breach. Containment compromised. I-04 offline. Echo Point awake. Outer darkness approaching. Origin? Drell asked. Unknown, Syrinx replied. Possibly not human. Possibly not. From this side of reality. Raylor stared at the message. What does outer darkness mean? Toller answered quietly. It means the thing they locked away is coming back. Captain Drell nodded. And it's not just one creature. It's a force, a hunger, a shadow that doesn't belong in any galaxy. The ship pulled away from the station. Behind them, Echo Point went dark again. The watchers had failed. The warning had come too late. Back on the bridge, Drell looked at the star map. The final eye listed in the human data blinked red. "Set course," he said. "We find the last eye. And we pray it's still standing. Because if it wasn't, the galaxy's last defense was already gone." The Velkar moved fast through deep space. Its crew said little. Everyone knew what was waiting. They were heading toward the last eye, I-01. According to the human data, it was the final lock. If it still worked, it could delay the deep one, maybe even hold it back. But if it had already fallen... Captain Drell stood on the bridge, his hands behind his back. He watched the stars pass by. "Status." Cyrix replied, "We're approaching the coordinates. But I'm not picking up any signal. The satellite should be broadcasting a warning beacon. Could it be cloaked?" "No," Cyrix said. "The humans wanted it to be seen. If it's not sending, it may already be gone." Relor added, "Then we may be too late." "No," Drell said firmly. "We won't assume that. Not until we see it." As they reached the edge of the marked space, the ship slowed. The crew watched the screen closely. A large object floated in the distance, dark, silent, ancient. "There," Toller said. "That's it." It didn't look like any normal satellite. It was massive, built like a fortress, with strange structures circling its core. Symbols were carved into its sides, old, glowing faintly. Human, yes, but also something else. Something older. Cyrix scanned it. The core is still active, but very weak. Life support failing. No communications. "Can we link with it?" Drell asked. "Attempting now." The ship moved closer. A data connection formed between the Velkar and the Eye. Strange code flowed across the screens. Some of it was in human language. Some was not. Cyrix worked fast, translating what it could. "Captain," Cyrix said, "this satellite was not just a lock. It was a prison. The Deep One was not killed. It was sealed beneath space, trapped in something the humans called the null field, a place where thought, time, and matter collapse." "And now?" Drell asked. "The field is weakening," Cyrix replied, "and the Eye can no longer hold it. Is there any way to repair it?" Cyrix paused. "Yes, but it requires a code key, a final trigger." Relor looked at Drell. "Do we have that?" Before Drell could answer, the screens flickered. A video started to play on its own. A human face appeared, old, weathered, eyes tired but calm. "If you are watching this," the man said, "then you stand at the end of the line. I am Admiral Kylan, commander of Earth's last defense program. We built the Eyes to watch the dark. We failed, but not fully. This station has one final command, to collapse into the null field and seal it again. But it needs a voice, a choice, someone to press the final key. That was always the cost. One voice, one will, one sacrifice." The video ended. No one spoke. Cyrix added, "The system confirms the Eye can self-destruct. Its collapse will reactivate the seal, but someone must stay behind to trigger it manually." Toller looked around. "There has to be another way." "There's not," Drell said quietly. Raylor stood. "I'll do it. I volunteered for this mission." Drell shook his head. "No, I'm the captain. It's my responsibility." But then Cyrix said something that changed everything. "Captain, there is another option." Everyone turned. The human warship we saw. It left something inside the Eye. A personality core. An AI. It calls itself Sentinel. It is weak. But if reactivated, it can carry out the command. "You mean," Toller said, "they knew this moment would come?" "Yes," Cyrix confirmed. "They planned for it." "Then wake it up," Drell said. "Let's finish this." The crew watched as Syrinx linked with the ice core. The ship shook slightly. Then a voice echoed through the bridge. Calm, deep, human. Sentinel online. Command confirmed. Null field protocol reactivating. Goodbye. The eye began to glow. Lights across its structure lit up, one by one. The symbols grew brighter. Energy built around it, more than any one ship could survive. Move us away, Drell said. Now. The Velkar turned and sped away. Behind them, the eye began to fall inward, collapsing into itself. Space twisted. Time bent. A great force pulled everything toward a single point. Then, silence. The eye was gone. The seal was restored. For now. On the bridge, the crew sat in silence. Then Syrinx spoke. It's over. Drell nodded. For now. Rillor asked, will it come back? Drell looked out at the stars. Maybe, maybe not. But now we know. Now everyone will know. He turned to his crew. The humans didn't run. They didn't vanish. They stood at the edge and held the dark back. Now we've done the same. Toller smiled. They weren't monsters. They were guardians. No, Drell said. They were human. And that was enough. Outside the ship, the stars looked brighter. The silence no longer felt empty. The line was broken. Then it was rebuilt. And somewhere in the dark, the Deep One waited. But this time, it knew. Humanity was watching. And it was not alone.